This is the KRMG Afternoon News with Skylar Cooper.
Time for the VA Breakdown, where we talk live with Broken Arrow City Manager Michael Spurgeon. Mr. Spurgeon, good afternoon.
Skylar, what's happening?
Man, it's a busy news day, and there's a number of things I wanted to ask you about, so I'm glad you're here.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us.
My privilege.
So one thing is, I saw this a couple of hours ago here, and I don't think it's the city's project, but I know you guys just want people to know about it. There's some work happening on Highway 51 where the intersection with 91st Street or Washington is, kind of the east side of town. So if you could tell us a little bit about that. And while we're talking roads, I understand the city council this evening is potentially taking some more action on that ramp you and I talked about that will get people out of the events park where the amphitheater will be onto the Creek Turnpike.
That's correct, Skylar. Thanks for bringing up both of these topics. First, the area that you're referencing at Highway 51 in Washington is a Oklahoma Department of Transportation project. And what they're doing there at Washington and Highway 51 is they're actually realigning that intersection, and they're going to be putting in a traffic signal. This is a project that we have spoken to them as long as many of the businesses in the area for several years, and they put it on their eight-year plan. ODOT did, and now they're actually in the middle of doing the construction. So that's going to be a great improvement for Highway 51 and also for the business there to make sure that people onto highway and off of Highway 51 safely. And as far as the Turnpike Authority, tonight the agreement, once it's approved by council, should they approve it, it will set the parameters for the city's access to the Turnpike ramp so we can have the right-of-way to actually do the improvements. The plans are done. We're ready to rock and roll. We can put it out to bid within about a month, but we need this formal agreement to be able on their property. And this is going to be much needed for the amphitheater project for late next year.
Broken Arrow City Manager Michael Spurgeon with us on the KRMG Afternoon News. It's the BA Breakdown. Something I noticed a couple of weeks back and I wanted to ask you about, and it's just funny timing because when I got home from work yesterday, there was a river running down my street. Unfortunately, another water line break on my neighborhood street, which usually happens in the winter. So that's curious. But I did see that the water rates are going up again in Broken Arrow. As a customer, I will tell you, it's a lot higher than when I moved in 2018.
Well, yes. I mean, quite frankly, Skylar, I mean, the mayor, council, and I never want to actually try to have to increase our rates. However, the cost of operations, the cost of doing business, the cost of supplies and materials, the cost of disposal of solid waste, for example, everything is gone up. And we're an enterprise fund, which means that, we've got to basically balance the budget. And so we went through the painstaking process of looking at exactly what we needed to be able to fund the operations, for the next year. And we unfortunately have to make sure that we basically stay in the black. And so to do that, we had to make some slight adjustments in our water, our sewer, stormwater, and sanitary services that we charge our customers for those four utilities. And it's going into effect today. Letters have started to go out to advise folks of the increases that we need in order to make sure that we operate efficiently and effectively.
What kind of increase are we talking about? Is there a percentage point, or how will people know how much?
Well, actually, you look at water is increasing with the base rate of about $1.13, and then sanitary sewer services is $2.55. We've also got a slight increase with sanitation, with basically about $2 or so to get to $24 a month for the disposal of trash. But I think for a family of four that uses 6,000 gallons of water, I think that's about the average. You could be looking at anywhere from $8 or $9 a month increase in your utilities. And once again, it's based on your usage. I always like to be an approximate because, I don't know how much someone's going to use, but certainly, these are charges that we have to implement in order to make sure that we continue to pay for the cost of operations.
So it starts today in terms of charging those rates, I guess. So I'll see it on my bill for next month.
That's correct. Actually, it'll be in November. And, our Thrive Edition is going to be coming out in a couple of months, which outlines the city's cost comparison. And I know a lot of people, don't like to see comparisons, but, as a city, we're extremely competitive. In fact, we're lower in just about everybody in the comparable cities that we look at in the state of Oklahoma in terms of what we charge. We're very, very conscious about any type we have an increase to be able to make sure we can justify it.
Broken Arrow has a trash collection service and a separate recycling service. And in my neighborhood, they come on the same day in separate trucks, usually pretty simple. But I know that later this month is the annual trash bash, as you call it. What could folks take out there that they can't throw in their trash or recycling bins?
Oh my gosh. I was hoping that you bring that up. I thought it might be a little closer to it, but I'm glad you brought up. Trash bash is a big deal in Broken Arrow. And essentially, the recycling rally we do, you can drop off, the traditional recycling items. You can also tires. There's opportunities for disposal of electronics materials, batteries. We're going to be doing it at our maintenance yard, which is at 1700 West Detroit Street. Aaron McCulloch and his team will be actually putting that out a little bit later in the month. That's behind Rhema. It's a great opportunity for folks to come out and get rid of those things that they have around their house and their garage. And I can tell you, I've got some statistics I get basically every year, the amount of materials. For example, in the last couple of years, we've gotten over 950 pounds of medications that we actually dispose of safely, almost 1,300 tires. So folks in Broken Arrow take this real serious, and they get their stuff to us, and then we dispose of it correctly.
Broken Arrow City Manager Michael Spurgeon, this has been the BA Breakdown. We do it every Tuesday just after 5. And Mr. Spurgeon, thanks again for joining us.
Thank you, Skyler. Talk to you next week.